broadcasting through the depths of outer space.
Hello, I'm alive. I don't know what's going on.
God damn you all to hell!
It's the Solo Sci-Fi Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Solo One Sci-Fi Podcast. This is 100 episode 2.
Yes, 102.
And I'm never going to get 5 hours of my life back, but I'm not complaining about it because that is my duty. As that is the Solo One Prime Directive.
The Solo One Prime Directive, yes.
Go, and from
where no sci-fi has gone before. Go on.
From the far reaches of Portsmouth, I bring to you Michael Ball, a.k.a. Kurtwood.
Hello, it's nice to see you. How are you doing, apart from wasting 5 hours of your life since you've taken over some of my challenges?
Well, yeah, well, to be honest, I've done this podcast over 6,000 times.
Have you? Oh, you mean it's... or does it feel like every week it's just the same old thing again and again and again and again?
That same minute, yeah.
So how's things after all the storm that we had last week? Storm, Piddles, whatever it's called.
I don't know. I mean, I saw it on YouTube. It looked bad, but when I looked out of my own window, it didn't look that bad.
I lost 4 fence panels and the roof was ripped off my shed. So it wasn't good. We've got a lot of damage my end, which is really annoying.
I don't know. Maybe because of where I live, it might have been a bit.
Might be more exposed down the south coast and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
but Saturday were bad. I went out on Saturday. Well, they took all the buses off actually Friday and Saturday.
Oh, did they?
So I did go to the shop to get some milk Saturday morning, and if I'd have had a carrier bag, I'd have been like Mary Poppins.
Well, I didn't go to work on Friday. I rang up my boss and said, "Look, what's happening?" And he, as usual, was not particularly pleasant. I won't go on too much about him in case he's listening, but all I'm saying is that a boss should tell his staff what exactly is going on rather than me ringing up asking what's happening. So anyway, I got the day off, but it was a usual unpleasant experience from him. But like I said, it was a lot of damage, but yeah, we're okay. Now, talking of Portsmouth, I have heard about a Comic Con coming on in May in Portsmouth. And I am going to get in touch with the guy that runs it. The guy that they've actually let me know his contact details. And I wondered if you don't mind whether he can actually, if he wants to, come along in the show. We could just sort of talk about a bit more about, because Portsmouth not exactly renowned for its sci-fi element. And I think it might be interesting to see exactly what they're doing there. Talk about whether it's something worth checking out and stuff like that. So I thought we could actually have him on.
Might be an idea asking him if we could broadcast a podcast from the convention.
Oh, well, you'd have to come down if we did that. That'd be cool. That'd be a bit daunting. I know. Look at his face. Look at the face when he's talking about going down to Portsmouth. I love it.
So I've got
you look like I just sort of like, you look like I just stabbed an old granny or something when I said that. That was like his face of absolute repulsion. Well, when did you last come to Portsmouth then?
About 97 was the last time I was there.
So it's about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been past it.
I've been on the way to Brighton or whatever. I've seen it. I've heard of it. Yeah. I've seen it on the actual route on my train.
Well, you're like the only person. Well, I used to know this woman that lived in a female friend. I've not seen her in years, but she lived in Portsmouth.
Oh, okay. If you watch the episode Mind the Baby Mr. Bean, that is all featured around Southsea and Clarence Pier and stuff like that. So when he's
you've got a naval base there.
Yeah. So, and obviously you got the Victory.
I went to a pub there, and I saw loads of warships, and they had a big wall. Yeah,
it's worth checking out if you ever have a day free. I mean, it's just I think it's just because it's a big football town that puts me off it because I'm not a football fan. What else was I going to say? Just something else was going on. Oh, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, so look, no, I can't think of that. So
I'll come to Portsmouth.
Yeah, we could actually do something. We could
I'll come for the day.
Yeah, at some point.
I'm going home.
It's not staying.
I'm going home.
It's like you sound like you feel like you can be like in a prison cell or something. You're locked in, like the door shuts and you're trapped.
I've never said that. I've got nothing against Portsmouth. I've nothing.
I have.
Against Portsmouth.
I'm not from here, and I'm like I said. No, look, it's all pros and cons. Sports with this, it's like I said. Look, if we're saying this and this guy is watching this, he's never going to come on the show, is he? If we're negative about Portsmouth, so
I love Portsmouth.
I love it too. It's great. I love the football. The football's great.
I recommend if you're into football.
If you like football, if you like people kicking the ball up and down the field, you'll love it here. It's great, and it's
I thought you'd have a convention. I did wonder. I thought they must have their convention down there.
It's the first one I'm aware of, and I came across it. I thought,
I mean, to be honest, it's not a bad location to hold a convention.
Well, yeah, because you've got the sea.
Well, because you've got the sea there.
Yeah,
I got a one in Eastbourne.
Yeah, I've not been to that one.
I know a lot of people that go to it, but it's a seaside town, so there's a lot more to do around the convention. So I'm surprised that I think Portsmouth should be quite good, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's like I said, I'll give you more information when it comes about, and maybe we can somehow feature it on the podcast in the next year. I think it's in May, so it's not yet, but we've got plenty of time. But it'd be nice to have somebody on board telling me why they've done this, how people in Portsmouth get involved with it. I love all that. I mean, if that makes me feel better if there's more of an element, because I've always felt like I like in the desert with no water, but with here it's no sci-fi. It's like, you know what I mean? I want more of a cult viewing aspect. I mean, I suppose there is everywhere, but I've never seen much of it since I lived here. So, but there we go. Right. So, any other news before we go into our focus of the week, which is going to be an unusual one, but I wanted to talk to you about this one. Do you want to go? You ready to go?
I've got something really interesting to tell you.
Do you want to tell me first then before we go into our focus?
All right. No, well, do you remember the film with David Bowie?
Which one?
The Man Who Fell to Earth.
I've never seen it. I know he's in Labyrinth as well. I've never seen The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Well, he did this film as an alien from a dying planet. He comes to Earth and he has lots of sex and takes lots of drugs.
Okay.
But he's meant to go get his family to get him to Earth, but obviously gets caught up in humanity, like the scale of it and all the emotions, and the government kidnap him at the end and they x-ray his eyes to make him human, and he's trapped on Earth. He builds a spaceship. I haven't seen it in years. As of today, the trailer for the TV series, which is the sequel to the 1970s film by Showtime, they revealed the sequel today, and Bill Nighy is playing David Bowie's character, but much older.
Oh, I like Bill Nighy.
Another
he
alien.
Was good. Yeah, he's a good actor. He was in the Albina Same Pet. And he was actually in an episode of Doctor Who as well. In the
original film, he uses his alien knowledge to build a big corporation.
Okay.
And
would you recommend?
He's trying to build a spaceship to go back and get his family, but
would you recommend seeing it?
It's a weird film. It's very psychedelic and drug taking, but it's Bowie and if
so it's a good film to watch.
It's worth a look. We should review it actually.
Yeah, at some point if you want.
It's a cult movie, but they've done a series to it, and if you're going to get into I'd watch the film. It can be hard if you're not. It's not mainstream.
Yeah, but I don't always. I'm not always bothered about that. I mean, some things which aren't mainstream, I couldn't. Like I said, the film that I couldn't get into, which I really wasn't mainstream for me, was Dune, the original Dune. But the remake, which we saw recently, I actually enjoyed that a lot more than the original, with Patrick Stewart in it, and Dean Stockwell was in it as well. But I couldn't get into.
Did you like the new one?
Yeah, I did like the new one.
I
thought it was pretty good.
I've seen about 10 remakes of it, and I'm fed up with it.
Yeah, well, I've only seen the original. I know there's a TV version of it as well, but I thought that because obviously it's only part one of the new Dune. I thought it was good. I thought it was quite. Do you know, if I were you, I'd just get yourself copies of the TV series. At least you get into the second book. Yeah, okay.
I'm fed up at remakes of it all. You know,
I would like to see a remake of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on TV. The whole book, properly done by the BBC. I'd love to see that.
Well, I've started a new series.
Oh, well, actually, because before you do about your new series, I want to talk to you about your channel and the voting that we did.
You've got me worried.
No, are you ready for the results?
To get me down to Portsmouth, and now it's...
No, I know. This is really bad. I'm sort of digging myself into to get you sort of like stuck in a rut. Right, so I, on my YouTube channel, decided to put a vote to people. And my comment was, my friend is thinking of changing his YouTube name. Should he change from Martin's Sci-Fi Appeal to By the Gods of Science Fiction? And I
drum beat.
It's in the background if I remember. Okay. So first of all, we had one comment from IE Media. He says, first one sounds like a fundraiser. Second one sounds cool and interesting, but without knowing what the content is, it's hard to know for sure. So let me tell you that we had 151 votes, which I think is pretty good. And the results were, do you want to find out who the runner-up was or who the winner was first?
Who was the runner-up?
The runner-up was a channel by the name of Martin's Sci-Fi Appeal, and he got 36%. So the winner by 64% by the Gods of Science Fiction, and that's the name that was the winner. So nearly 2/3 of people voted for your new name. So if you do check that option, then I would be happy to help you with some graphic design and make your channel look really cool.
I'd just like to do one thing. I would like lightning, thunder in the background. When I say this, I'm going to say, by the gods of science fiction.
All right, I'll try and add some lightning, green screen, and some reverb, if I remember.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I think that really,
I did edit the clip out from last week.
I saw it at the beginning of one of your intros,
I
which I thought was cool.
laughing at that.
No, I know. I love adding the reverb. It always makes it funny. I think really, obviously it's up to you, but it sounds like you're changing your name.
Well, I will do. It's going to happen over the next couple of weeks.
I think you will now, because that's a very 2/3 of people voted for the new name, which is quite a strong indication.
So Martin's Sci-Fi Appeal sounds like I'm trying to sell something then.
Well, no, that's what one guy said. He said, I said, he said it sounded more like a fundraiser.
Really?
Well, that's what they put. They said that, but they weren't familiar with obviously the content. So they.
Yes, and if you'd like,
it's just the name of how
channel.
Well, the thing is, at the moment, it's Martin's Sci-Fi Appeal, but in shortly after this is released, it may well be by the Gods of Science Fiction. I will, if I remember, post a link to your channel underneath the description for this episode. And so then it hopefully will bring some.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody who took
I do too. That's quite a lot of votes there.
Took part in the vote. Thank you so much. I will be changing my channel to by the Gods of Science Fiction.
And I'll work on your graphics for you. I'll help you do it.
Yes, I will tell you what I will.
What I'll do, what you could do is I can have a godlike figure with you holding up your hand, and then I could I could then Photoshop your head, and then I could have like the Enterprise, Sparks, space in the background, the TARDIS. I could do all that. It could be quite funny.
Oh, all right, you're loving it, aren't you?
I get that Spark now.
I'm thinking about the intro. I love the intro I've got, but it could as the intro, like with the things that make like.
What you want the
voice coming in, going by the gods of science fiction. You know what I mean?
I could do the Arthur Rank thing again with the bashing of the gong, but I could also mix in your name with you saying it with a bit of reverb.
Yeah.
And then maybe when it fades out, instead of having the Space 1999 Eagle, we could change it to a different ship or something flying by. Yeah. And then obviously I could then green screen your title. I'd have to design the actual title.
Well, I'd just like to thank everybody for taking part.
Yeah, that's a lot of votes. Actually.
I'm surprised actually, because I did tell a couple of people that we're going to change it, and they were sort of like, actually, one friend said it sounded really cool, so that pushed me.
When you said
a lot of people that were sat on fence about it, it's got some.
No. But I, when you said to me last week, first of all, I was really feeling off last week, and secondly, sometimes you say by the gods anyway. You sometimes say it jokingly. That's why when you said that, I didn't take it on as that was really going to be your new title.
Well,
that's why I did
you for that. I've forgiven you for that.
Good. I can go to bed sleep. I can sleep tonight. Thank you. I can sleep sound tonight then, rather than having sort of like 2 hours dreams of upsetting you and waking up with cold sweats.
I didn't sleep for 5 days after that. I felt dejected.
How do you feel now? Do you feel better now you got the vote though?
I feel inspirational. I feel that.
I think that's really good.
It's coming out. Yeah.
No, well, look, let me help you out.
150 votes. I'm really chuffed about that.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, look, I as a thank you for first of all spending your time watching these shows, I will be happy if you want me to, and it's up to you, to use my limited Photoshop expertise to make something quite fun for you.
I would like a channel banner. A channel banner. I said channel banner. A channel banner Yeah, I've got an idea for that. Yeah.
All right,
I'll,
give me some ideas.
I'll tell you after this. Yeah, after this.
Fine. I'll work it out for you. I'll be happy to do that.
By the
and I can't
gods
wait.
of science fiction.
But there we are. I mean,
I
could actually rip that off and
Nobody's
just do it.
used it.
But if you want to record it, rather than recording it on Zoom, record it on your phone. Send me it on Dropbox, a good quality audio of you saying that. I'll add some reverb and mix it into the visuals.
Well, what I'll do is I'll do a couple of versions and then send them to Dropbox.
Yeah, drop them, and then I can rip them off, and then I'll come back about and get a
and
good
I'll tell
audio.
you what I want.
Yeah, sure. It's up to you.
I don't know. I thought something. I want to change things up a bit. You know.
I think I'm too used to my channel, especially my channel's quite big now. I'm not going to change it.
Why?
But I
can
think
I
yours
ask a question? Why Kurtwood? What is that?
No. When the day I made the channel in 2007, I thought, what shall I name it? And do you know what? Some random word, Kurtwood, which doesn't mean anything, popped into my head.
Just came into your head.
Yeah, it was literally just like
that.
Yeah,
no, it happens.
And
That's how it happens.
And when I was thinking about doing a new podcast, I was driving in my van. I went past a school. I won't give the name out of the school. And suddenly I think, what could I call this new podcast? And suddenly it just said Solar One. I thought, Solar One, that sounds good. Then Sci-Fi podcast. And it literally, both times, it was not me. It just like popped into my head, and that was it. It's very strange how it works out like that. What about Martin Sci-Fi Appeal? Is it just because your name's Martin?
I was thinking, well, I started about 5 years ago.
That's quite a long time, actually.
And I didn't know. I just had my name for about a year. I just used my name.
Yeah, but
and then one day I decided to change it, and like you, it just came into my head.
Yeah, it was completely random, and now
there were no plans to it. I just thought Martin Sci-Fi. That was it, really. It just explains I'm Martin.
Sort of works it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it just.
It's very strange how it works out like that, but it's funny. I mean, you know, some people have said, where's Kurtwood from? And some people are saying, is it like some Celtic or something? I said, no, it's not. It's just I don't know. I don't know how I even thought about it, but there's only one Kurtwood, and it's mine, and nobody else has thought of a name similar. There's no other channels which shadow my name, and because of what I have, it stands out. Same as Solar One. I mean, there are some Solar One podcasts, but not sci-fi podcasts. So.
And I'd just like to say, by the gods of science fiction, merchandise will be available soon.
And I'll be doing the designing, and you'll be doing the printing, probably. That'd be. No, it'd be good. It'd be good. I look forward to helping you out. I think that'd be fun. And it's new year. You know, we're hopefully getting a bit.
That's
past
what I
COVID
thought.
now.
Shake things up.
Absolutely. Well, I wish you all the best of that, and I certainly will do what I can for you because your channel's great, and I'd like to see it maybe expand a bit more.
As yours is.
Thank you very much. Right, let's go into our focus of the week. Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi
focus of the week.
Right, so Martin very kindly spent 24 minutes of his time over the last week. I've asked him for a number of weeks to do this. He very, very kindly decided this week. He was oh, sod it, let's just get this out of the way. Now, this is it's a short drama. I don't know how let me explain. I first saw this. The copy you saw was the recording I took off Channel 4 in 1991. Which I've kept and then transferred into MPG.
Is it Twilight Zone?
No, it's not part of anything. It was a short film. No, that's it. And it was not a Twilight Zone. It's not affiliated with any
Because I was waiting for that voice to come up at the end.
No, it wasn't. It was just a short story of a guy who was walking. He's suddenly alerted, and he's walking by a road, and he walks to have his lunch. And I hopefully if I can find the trailer, it'll be in the left-hand corner as I'm speaking. And it was just something. When I saw it, I don't know whether I saw it before Groundhog Day, but it was made around the same time as Groundhog Day, and Cause and Effect on the Next Generation would have been a similar time. So it was the point where there was quite a few time loop sort of stories going about at that time, and I just thought the whole thing was just. It was always like a one-man film. It was basically mainly Kurtwood Smith with a couple of other... His name is Myron Castleman. I don't even know the name of the guy, the actual character. And he works in some boring office. He sees a woman he's seen as a secretary in the park, and he eventually gets talking to her. And of course, She doesn't know what's going on, and it's just a very clever idea of a guy who's slowly being driven mad because he's spending. It's not even like a day, like on Groundhog Day. It is 1 hour. It's 12:01 to 1 p.m. and then it all resets. And he's back again in the streets, and it's lunchtime, and he's hungry again. So now you've seen it. Tell me what you thought about it, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. What's the pros and cons?
Well, when I watched it, I thought it were an episode of Twilight Zone.
Okay.
Because it has that feel of it.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. But it's not.
You know, but there was no intro. It just starts with him at the stood on the thing in the middle of the road.
Yeah, that's right.
And I did like that. So I've watched it twice, actually. I
Oh,
really
wow.
analysed
That's good.
it. Yeah, no, I did watch it. That's an hour I'm
Thank
never
you.
going to get back. But no, I enjoyed it. Now, I am going to say this. When we get the time loop stuff, there's normally a way out.
Yeah. This is
There's
partly why this was more
Groundhog
powerful.
Day, Star Trek, Twilight Zone.
They
Whoever's
all
done
get out of it.
this
They
story,
always get out of it. Yeah.
they get out. There's a way out by doing something or doing the right thing. Groundhog Day, Bill Murray's got to humiliate himself to become a better person.
Yep.
Stargate, when they did it in that, there was a way out. Twilight, there's Twilight episode, did it in that. There's a way out. Star Trek, there's a way out. Normally, now there was something interesting about this, which only Next Gen sort of covered it in the episode when they were doing it. When he was having his time jump, his time bounce going resetting. I like the concept that his consciousness was outside of time.
That's right. That's it. That
And
was
it
the
was
whole
like
point.
in a pocket universe.
Independent
repeating.
variable. There's
Yeah.
an independent variable
It's
for the
like
rest of the time.
just an hour and he's having to relive it. And at first, when he met that woman, you knew straight away this guy's life story.
Yeah, he was a
knew
person in a
within
dead-end job. He
3
hates
minutes.
his job, and
Yeah.
he's too scared to change his life. And that's
Yeah,
partly
it's
why it was so
comfortable, yeah.
powerful. Yeah, it was the comfort
Yeah.
of being in the same job, which he couldn't care less, which I've been in myself. Where
Yeah.
I mean, I worked in an office for many years, and it's the same routine. And what I liked about it was, and my boss used to say this in my old job when I worked at Surrey County Council, that I used to come in every morning at 5 to 9, and I always used to give a big, deep exhale and look at the clock before walking up the corridor, going to my desk and starting the next day, and waiting for the same time, the same lunch break. And that's what's so clever, because I've never been a particularly ambitious sort of person. I've never been a career orientated person. I like doing stuff if I'm interested, but unfortunately I never found a job where I could use my skills and make money from it.
Yeah.
Everything I do, it's all a hobby thing. So this guy is like me in many ways, but of course it's different because it literally is the same hour, it's not even the same day. And slowly as this goes on, he gets more and more unstable. And I just like that idea, because when it started, he'd been in about 30 loops, and I don't know how many loops were by the end, but it was probably hundreds by the end of the episode when we find out.
It could have been millions.
Well, we don't know until this point, but it could have been. It could well have been millions.
Don't forget, we don't start on the day where it's beginning. We just start.
No, he's already been doing it for ages.
So how long's it been going?
He said when we first mentioned it that he's done it about 30 times, I think.
And he's never slept.
No, but then that's the thing. But then he wouldn't get tired. His whole body, it's the memory that's being, even though the universe is looping, it's just the memory. His consciousness is outside. So his body, he wouldn't keep getting tireder and tireder. It's the same as the fact that at one point he says, "I'm hungry again." He says, "I'm hungry now, and in 2 minutes' time, I'll be hungry again because that'll be after the next loop."
If he's remembering everything, his consciousness is not getting time to reset.
You mean like yeah, that's true. But that actually could be damaging because
and if you've done it 40 times, when have you slept?
Yeah,
you know, all right, you might.
The body needs,
but you remember.
So that's a good point. If his consciousness is still going with every loop, then the body needs REM sleep. That's a good point.
Your mind
yes,
does. Your mind does. That's why he got a gun. That's why he got a gun and blew his brains out.
And then
because that scientist said it's never going to end for you, man.
No, and he shook his head like, "No, is there any way I can get out of this?" And he said, no, he just shook his head. And
This-
then he got
this-
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Out of the time loop stuff, right? The whole, because we've seen loads of it. This is unique.
I loved it.
And it is unique because
Yeah.
there's no way out for the guy. Because obviously he gets that lovely woman on the park bench, and
Yeah.
there's a connection. Obviously, there's a power. There's something there. Even that is taunting him. Can you imagine that? There's this woman he could fall in love with, have a relationship, and not be on his
And
own
they really
anymore.
click when he finally talks to her.
Yeah,
But then
I
she
mean, when
forgets it again.
When he helps that homeless person, she comes running over and says that was such a decent thing you did, because she's a decent human being.
That's right.
But he
that's
can never,
right.
he can never get near her.
No.
He can never get near her, and every time it resets, he's remembering every time.
Yeah,
How
because
to
her name,
reset
her
his
name was
consciousness.
Stephanie. Yeah, and then when we first, I think on the first time we see him, he finally says, "Look, I finally had the courage to actually talk to you. I don't normally talk to people like this, strangers and stuff like that." And she's doing artwork of the homeless guy, and she's a person who's obviously, again, she should be an artist. And she's like a legal secretary. And
Yeah,
probably
she's in the same boat as
She's
them.
in the wrong job. This is another clever thing.
yeah,
There's
like,
a
yeah.
lot of intelligent aspects in this thing.
Oh, it's beautiful. I enjoyed it.
I knew that you'd love it. I've always been trying to get you to watch this, and I knew that you'd really kind of think this is a really cool thing.
Yeah,
and
but
I've never
what's
forgotten it.
What was unique about there was no way out for him.
No,
Normally
and
in
that's why.
these things, there's a way out. There's always a way out. You've got
Yeah.
to do it even a million times. Eventually, you're going to do that thing. It's going to reset time.
That's it.
He never got out of it.
No, it'd be
he
eternity, literally immortal. That's it for the rest of time.
Blew his brains out, and I felt that. I
Yeah.
felt that when he went to that scientist, and that scientist said that nothing can be done for you, and he just blew his brains out.
And then you hear the
And there he
crackling
was.
sound, and then bam, he's
the
back
lights,
again. Yeah, yeah.
and he's back on that
I loved it.
circular thing in the middle
All
of the
over again in the middle of the road, and that was it.
And it
he was
finished.
round. Yeah, it faded out. Let me give some. I've got some information here. So it says 12:01 p.m. is a short story by American writer Richard Lapoff, which was published in December 1973 edition of the magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction. The story was twice adapted by Hollywood. First in a 1990 in a short film, which is the one we've seen. Then again in the 1993 television movie, which I have seen, which I don't know if you've seen the TV movie version of it. It's got Martin Landau. It's called 12:01. It's got Martin Landau in it from Space 1999
Oh,
in
might
it.
have done.
And it's not a patch on this one. And I will. You should check it out. You should have a copy of it on the on your your stuff you got there. It says the major plot device is a time loop or time bounce that bears great similarity to that of 1993's Groundhog Day. So actually, Groundhog Day was made after this. So I apologise. It's the other way around. Lapoff and Jonathan Heat, director of the 1999 film, were outraged by the apparent theft of the idea. But after so they think that Groundhog Day stole the idea and used it for their film. And we've only recently covered Groundhog Day. So they are saying that they took it from their idea.
But this has been done since the 70s, this concept.
I don't know the first concept. When was the first time you came across it? You know more than I would.
I think Twilight Zone, I think.
Did Twilight Zone do
I think I could be wrong. I think one of the older ones, where somebody's reliving the same. They've done the thing where somebody's
done similar
reliving
things.
the same
Yeah,
moment.
probably Twilight
But there's
Zone.
always a way out.
Yeah.
There's always a way out. There's something happens to somebody and they're reliving that moment. But that, to me, that could have been a horror movie. That 25 minutes, you can spend millions of dollars on that film. Turn it into this big spectacle. It don't matter. What they did for 25 minutes was sheer genius.
I thought so
And
too.
it worked. And I was sat at the end of it and I watched it again, looking for something. And this poor dude, who's just an innocent man, is stuck in this universal reset.
Forever.
And,
Yeah, I love it.
and the only answer you get is something to do with his consciousness out of time.
It's independent variable from this. Yeah. It was.
And that's what I found fascinating. That's what made this different to everything else.
Well, in the future, maybe at some point we'll do the TV movie version, which is because this is called 12:01 p.m. The movie version is called 12:01, It's got Helen Slater in it, Jonathan Silverman, Jeremy Piven, and Martin Landau. I liked it, but it's not a patch on this.
When were this made? In the 90s?
Well, this version was made in 1993, so it was made 2 years after, or 3 years after the one with Kurtwood Smith, and it's a day loop again. It's not like a 1 hour.
Yeah, but
loop.
the parallels with the Next Generation episode, where they're re-repeating the thing, they remember the echoes of each time.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's similar to him and his variables.
Well, they slowly. The thing is, they're all slowly remembering bits each loop, but this is just one person who's independent, has an independent.
But was that Next Gen episode before this? Because Next Gen
I think it's
finished
around about the same time. It was season 5, and season 7 finished in 1993.
No, if it started 87,
I think it might have been just after. It might have been.
It might have been before, because if season 5 was 92.
So that means that then this Kurtwood Smith version then again was made before the Next Generation episode, and before
Next
the
Gen
Stargate
started in 87.
Well, no, we can work it out. Season 1, 87, 88. Season 2, 88, 89. Season 3, 89, 90. Season 4, 1999, 1.
Yeah, 92.
So that means that the Next Gen episode would have been after the short film. So I think a lot of these, and they've already said that Groundhog Day. So this could have been a groundbreaking episode or short story concept, which I don't think that Twilight Zone ever properly covered it. I don't think it did.
Did he show Groundhog Day then?
Well, no, he says here. What did he say?
Because they nicked it, didn't they? I mean, come on, really. I mean, they took the concept, didn't they? I know they altered it, but I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not saying they did, but there is a lot of similarities there, isn't there? Yeah, but then again, Groundhog Day is a dark comedy, isn't it?
Yeah, this wasn't. I mean,
this isn't even a comedy.
Most of these loops are comedy, although the Next Generation was quite serious as the Enterprise blows up every.
Well, the guy that played the character, he's a good actor.
That was the next thing I was going to say. Now, Kurtwood Smith, he played Anarax in Voyager, and a very good role in that. He was obviously on RoboCop. And he's a really good actor.
He was in the 70s show. I've only seen a few episodes, but he was the father in that, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him in quite a few things, and I think he's a very good actor. And they couldn't have cast anybody better for this role.
He's got a fantastic voice. His voice is, he's got one of them voices. He does a lot of voiceovers. Yeah, he's got he's got one of them voices, like have that tone to it. Bloody good actor to get him. Well,
he was the villain, of course, on my favourite Voyager 2-parter, which of course was the Krenim episode.
But was he a villain?
Again, not necessarily. Again, he was trying to save his wife and family. So
every time the timeline, his wife, she wasn't there.
And that's all he wanted to do was get back to his wife, which of course,
and then time reset itself,
and it wouldn't let him.
And he got his wife back.
He said, "Time won't allow me to get my wife back." And he had like a clump of hair.
One thing he couldn't have.
The one thing he couldn't get. Keanu Prime.
And that were amazing.
Cause and effects. No,
What
was it called? That 2-part? I can't think it's called.
Year of Hell one is.
Year of Hell. That's it. Year of Hell. Brilliant episode.
Fantastic, intelligent.
So why is the show now? This episode now, I've got my copy, which I've got is just a recorded off Channel 4. It is on YouTube if you wanted to check it out. Somebody's got a bit. It's a copy's even worse than mine. It was released on DVD and VHS on United States, but it says it's available on DVD in the UK. I'd love to get a proper DVD copy of it because I think this show should be really well known, and it's funny that it's such a short story.
But it's in between a horror movie and the Twilight Zone. Because this guy's
not a comedy. It's not a comedy.
No, God, no. There's no way out for him.
No, exactly.
And he's been taunted all the time in that hour. And the only guy that can help him can't help him, because
because when the first time he realizes that consciousness is an independent variable, then that's when the loop happens, and then he's struggling to meet the scientist to get more information, and that's when at the end he's told that no, there's nothing you can do, you cannot ever get out, ever. I loved it. I just thought it was a very, very powerful.
I think but that's the thing, because when he blew his brains out,
He thought
and
that'd
it
be it.
reappeared, I looked at the timer at the bottom on the timeline, and it just finished.
Yeah.
And I thought, good God, I could have watched another hour of that.
I could have, yeah.
I
mean,
could have kept going with it. You know,
do you
what
think
I mean?
it was a bit too short, or do you think the length was
No.
right, or?
I
You
think
could be a bit longer?
it had the effect it needed to have. That's what made it unique, because there was everybody in this type of these scenarios, even with Doctor Who when they did it over at New Year.
Yeah, which I was a bit underwhelmed with that one.
There's a way out. There's a
Yeah,
way out.
and there was in
all
that one
the
as
time.
well.
Yeah, and there were no way out for him. It just, and that poor man, because that woman, she could have been his partner. You know, it's
Yeah, I mean that was definitely
Just
potential
carries
relationship starting, and he was obviously living alone. He was eating carrot sticks, and he made his little packed lunch every day in his
yeah.
suitcase.
She went,
You know,
and
I
they
loved all
really
that.
made little points about that when she said that's the most organised dinner I've seen.
Dinner, yeah, lunch I've ever seen in a suitcase. Yeah,
But
that's
the
it.
key to this is that you jumped in like 30 of his time loops in.
But you didn't know
start-
when you watch it the first time. You're not, because you're
No.
like, you're just like experiencing the world. Another clever thing, you're watching the first loop, not knowing that it's going to repeat. So you say, oh, he's walking along, and that's what's so clever about it, and that's why
He gives it
I love
away
it.
when he says to her that, you know, in an hour I'll be hungry again.
I like it when he goes to Dolores, who he works with, who's like this whiny secretary,
kicks off
and he
at
goes,
her, doesn't
"Oh,
he?
you're back early. You've got another 20 minutes left." And he goes, "Why do you shut up, you stuck-up little bitch?"
Shit, yeah. Just loses it.
And she goes, "Oh." There's some very, very funny moments in it because she was awful. Oh, what a weirdo!
But they
Oh,
were
I love it.
dealing with humour. They were dealing because these
Human nature.
because you say if your mind can't reset itself, you're going to start going insane. And he was going insane because his mind, he doesn't even get to reset it. At least
No, I
in
know.
Groundhog Day, he fell asleep and he woke
And he
up
can
at
start the
6
next
in
day,
bed.
at least he's refreshed. But as you say,
Yeah.
which you pointed out, which I hadn't thought about, that the brain would surely, he would be getting mentally ill because he's not getting REM sleep.
Well, it was
because the
starting, he was
consciousness
getting
is
like that.
carrying on. So he will get ill because
they
he
were
can
that
never
same.
stop.
There were that same where we were on the office balcony and he was thinking of
He
jumping
was,
off.
yeah. I suppose what he could do is when a loop starts straight away, just find somewhere and try to sleep. But then would he be tired though?
Well,
The
you
brain- I mean, what I'm saying is
I
if he
don't
needs
think you
REM
would.
sleep,
I don't think you would, because the minute he shuts his eye, you know, when you fall asleep for half an hour, suddenly you're up fat. It's like,
but would he? But would the brain, would the consciousness be repressed? But I don't know. There's some interesting
don't know.
aspects of that. I never thought
I
about
mean,
that. until
I
you
could
said.
talk about this for the next couple of hours. I watched it twice, mate, this week.
Yeah,
and
I
really
knew you'd like
enjoyed
it. I knew you, knowing you like I have. I knew you'd find it interesting, and it's something that you don't
Fascinating.
get.
I've got it in my computer.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I just felt right sorry for him, because
I've
this
kept
was a
that
man
copy.
who could have changed his life.
That copy I've kept for 31 years, and
Wow.
and that's the copy you've seen, recorded off Channel 4 in 1991, and I loved it ever since, and I never forgot it, and I've kept it on VHS, and I transferred it onto an MPG, which obviously you've seen, just because I loved it so much, and it is on YouTube, and it hasn't been taken down, so. If you want to check it out, I might, if I remember, I'll put a link in the description.
Is
But
it an independent film project then?
I don't know. I'm looking at the information here. Actually, it just says
To me, it was like
it says it's a
Twilight
short
Zone.
story. Yeah, it could well be.
Had that
or Outer
feeling
Limits.
that
Outer Limits.
even the cinematography to it reminded me of the late 80s Twilight Zone. It had that feel to it. It really did.
It must be. It just says it's a short film by these people involved with it, by an American writer, Richard A. Lapoff, and it says it's twice been adapted by Hollywood. A short film, which is the one we've seen, plus the 1993 version, which isn't as good. And it says here, Lapoff and director Jonathan Heat, director of the 1990 film, were outraged, in brackets, by the apparent theft of the idea. But after 6 months of lawyers' conferences, they decided to drop the case against Columbia Pictures. Decades later, Lapoff returned to the story with 2 sequels to avoid. Oh, hang on a minute. There's a sequel. Decades later,
Really?
Lapoff returned to the story with 2 sequels 12:02 p.m. Published in January,
Are they on
February.
YouTube?
No, these are. I think these are magazine versions. There's a magazine version. It's not been made. There's a 12:02 p.m. and 12:03 p.m. But these are magazines, which I didn't know about that in 2011. So it's
Well, I
only ever
hope
made
he
it
gets
magazine.
out and he ended up with her.
Yeah, but I don't know how they
Yeah.
could have continued it. How could they make a 12:02? I have to look that up. Because I mean, surely that's the end of the story. He's stuck there forever. There won't be anything unless it's something else independent, also consciousness from somebody else. Now, have you seen Russian Doll yet? Because this is another very clever time loop
No,
story.
I haven't seen that yet.
Now,
no.
I don't know if it's on Netflix, but I highly recommend Russian Doll. It's a woman in New York, and she has the same thing. But there's another element, which I'm not going to say what it is. You'll love it as well. I might, at some point, if you want to, in the next few weeks, check that out. I think you'd like that as well. Another very good time loop story. But yeah, so anyway, that was... any other things about this this short story?
No, that was it. I just found the ending fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it did haunt me when I first saw it,
Yeah.
and it was just the way you saw his brains hitting the window.
Because normally when they're starting Stargate, they're doing all kinds of things, you know, in that like minute they've got or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, O'Neill's playing golf with Stargate, and Bill Murray's jumping off buildings and robbing banks, and there's all these things. But with this, there's a sense of reality, like human reaction to it, and that's the focus of this. He could do so much in the hour, but none of it matters.
But he may well
None
do
of it.
that after we leave the actual episode. It's still continuing. So
yeah,
you don't
but
know
it's
what he'll
still
be doing.
Yeah, so if he's going to learn something, he'd have to do it a billion times to get the full
But
skill.
sure, the thing is, though, I mean, in Groundhog Day, Bill Murray's character has depression, then he's really horrible, then he's trying to find love, and in the end, he decides to be a good person. When he becomes a good person, that's when he breaks the loop. This character surely would do similar things. He would have a point of depression, anger, trying
Well,
to
he
find
started
love.
doing good things, didn't he?
Exactly. But
He did.
what would happen? I mean, that's the interesting thing, because surely at some point, every one of those extremes he would also have covered. You know, what would happen in, say, 1,000 years' time after going? You know what I mean? It just makes you think. Also, it's 1 hour. Just 1 hour.
You see, the sad thing about this is normally there's like some force that's doing it to teach you a lesson.
No, it's like an antimatter collision or something, wasn't it?
No, in other stuff.
Yeah, I know. In other things, there is something. Yeah, but there's not.
There's
in
a
this
way
one.
out if you do the right thing. With him, I just think it's the universe that's just got stuck.
Yeah.
There's no force behind it. It's just the universe, something's happened, and he's just happens to be the victim of higher forces, which is, and there's no way out. There's no way out for this guy.
No, there's nothing he can do.
Until this time loop resets itself, which obviously it probably will do at some point. But until then, he's got to keep reliving that nightmare, you know.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if the matter and the antimatter universe are colliding, is that itself something which can eventually change?
He's probably, his consciousness is probably, I think he's stuck in like a pocket thing. Like his conscious, it's in between both universes where time's been, he's stuck in his own little personal universe.
Yeah,
until the universe resets itself. It's not going to stop.
No,
and that's because there's no benevolent force to get him out of there.
No,
there's nothing like that. It's just the way the universe works, and he's just a victim of it, and that's what's sad about it.
Yeah, and like he's such a likable character as well, which I think also
like a really
nice character. Yeah. So anyway, look, I'm really glad you saw it. Thank you for spending your time seeing it. I knew that it was something that you won't forget. I've never forgotten it. And I think that's what this channel is all about. It's all about sort of sharing things that I know we do a lot of the mainstream TV shows and films, but sometimes it's great to do something which you're not aware of. And if you've got 25 minutes, it's on YouTube. Sit back, watch a very, very cleverly crafted story, great acting, and okay, you might have found out the spoilers from this review, but it's still well worth watching. Just embrace it and enjoy it. And Martin, thank you very much for that. That's brilliant.
Working.
So the sci-fi news.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery. What did you think?
Actually, I thought this episode was all right because the week before with the gambling thing, I just didn't click with that at all. Apart from, like I said, the changeling Tribble was good. It was called Rubicon, wasn't it? We saw that character who was a Barzan who returned, Narn. It was nice seeing her character, but I liked her character. And I like the fact that she was now a security officer, where they're trying to work out what to do next with this species, whatever they're called, I can't remember the name. So at the end, we find out that it's back again. They think that they've destroyed this thing, and it comes back at the end of the episode. I think what I'm actually interested in is that next week, the actual episode of next week's title is The Galactic Barrier.
Finally.
And as a long Star Trek fan, apart from seeing it again recently in Star Trek Continues, are we going to actually see that ominous pink glowing barrier again? Now, do you think they're going to change it? Do you think they're going to completely change it and make it unrecognisable?
I think they'll do something with it, you know. But it's
oh please, can we just have the galactic barrier like it was in 1966?
But just a big energy thing, won't it? You know,
yeah, energy barrier.
Well, apparently the Q put that there.
Oh, I not heard that. That's obviously
well in the books. I was
going to say that
the books are not classed as canon.
That's not canon.
It's to keep something out.
Okay.
Another entity that.
Well, what did you think of Rubicon, then? What do you think of Rubicon? Did you like it yourself? What do you think? I mean, it was all right.
Last week's episode.
Yeah.
A little bit all right, wasn't it? I mean, Saru getting it off with Vulcan, you know, talking to Doctor. It was like, I'll just get on with it. And then
I don't mind. I mean, I like his character. I mean, Saru's my favourite character. Are you getting sick of it?
Well, no, they were there when she floated a shuttle up to his spaceship. She's going, oh, Buck, you know, look, you know, you've got to trust me. We've got 150 hours to figure it out. And then if it don't work, we'll destroy it. You know, and then dodgy scientist launches the isolinic device, and which we predicted. Now, we did this 4 to 5 weeks ago, that we said, I bet they try and destroy it, and it reappears again. They've done everything we did say that, we said in this episode so far, because we made predictions.
All right, so then, how do you predict the series is going to complete? If there's any,
I think I know where it's going, and
okay, no, come on. This is now going to be immortalized. Let's go for it. I'm interested. Go on.
Whatever it is, right, let's drop all the canon with Q and all that. This barrier exists for whatever reason, right? There's something, obviously, this thing is outside. It's outside our galaxy, whatever it is, and it's projecting something through the barrier into our to get that Boronite stuff.
Yeah,
right?
the Boronite.
I think they're going to meet them, and they won't have a clue about our existence. We're so below them, they probably don't even register us.
Do you think they created?
They'll be like the Organians or the Metron. They'll be so far beyond.
I wonder if this race are the ones that actually created the Great Barrier in the first place.
It could be.
Now, I'd like that. That would tie in with the original series.
DMA's not a weapon, is it? It's like a dredger. That's what they said.
Yeah, but we don't know we don't know why the Great Barrier is there in the first place. It's never been explained since the original series.
No, and has it really?
It's not. We just know this barrier.
People have got through it, though. The Andromeda's got through it.
Well, I know, of course, if you get through it, you can get the aphasia. What's it called?
It's 1 out of every million or something can become.
You can then
like
upload to this. Telepathic
ESP.
thing.
Yeah.
Charlie X.
I think it's a race. Now, if this is a weapon, I mean, it could be like a less developed race controlling technology. They've got no power over.
I think it's the race.
Could be that.
No, I think it's going to be to do with the race with the ESP race with the sparkling eyes. I think that they.
Oh, do you mean the ones that found all asleep in that planet and they woke them up?
Well, no, I wasn't thinking about them. No, I was thinking.
Oh no, which ones are you thinking about?
You know that obviously Charlie X got uplifted into this greater consciousness and everything else. I wonder whether that was something to do with the actual race who created the barrier, and they themselves have extra ESP abilities. There's something connecting with the Charlie X reaction.
You mean the Phasians?
Phasians, that's the word. I think it's something to do with the Phasians.
Oh, it could be. I mean, they were energy beings, but whatever this
but
thing
they're
is,
so
outside
evolved.
the barrier.
Yeah, they're so evolved because they're outside the barrier, but they're the ones who created the barrier in
Phasians
the
lived
first
in
place.
our galaxy.
Maybe they have created the barrier to get.
Because they did say, whatever this is on the same level of technology as the Metrons. And you only shot Metrons once for 5 minutes.
And we don't know how these Phasians, how intelligent they might have got if they'd have continued to progress. They might continue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
or it could be just it could be just a machine left over working itself from an ancient civilization that's gone. And
But it could be something completely independent of anything we've seen before. I hope it ties in with something we've seen before, personally.
Do you think it's malevolent?
No,
you think there's a malevolent force behind it?
I think it's like a fishing net in the sea, just picking up fish.
I think whatever it is,
it's too above it.
It's so beyond us, it won't recognise us as life forms. We have to get its attention. Or it could be a doomsday weapon. Running on a program, just running.
So one question, I thought the spore drive could go literally anywhere. It sounds to me like the spore drive can only go in the Milky Way galaxy.
Well, that's a good point.
Because it's never been answered. I thought that you could go anywhere. So this must tell me that the Moriocicilum, whatever the thing is, it must only be in our Milky Way galaxy. Because otherwise,
but you'd think 700. How many? We're nearly 1,000 years into the future. You think
surely they could have breached the barrier by now. I would have thought
you think they'd have been to Andromeda galaxy?
Well, this is suggesting that they haven't. And maybe
they
didn't have
spore drive, did they? They didn't have.
Yeah, but this is telling me that no. But surely it would have been said by this point. Oh, we've taken the spore drive to Andromeda, and there's no sign of anything. And they've not mentioned anything outside of the galaxy. And in the there's a couple of previews. We see them going towards the edge of the galaxy at warp rather than sporing in. So it tells me maybe the spore drive only works within the barrier.
I mean, there's a few questions. I mean, the 700-800 years of future, you really think they would have gone beyond warp drive, wouldn't you? You know,
well, yeah, but we had the burn slow things down
by this time.
I mean, the burn slow things was it 200 years before?
Yeah,
so that's still 500 years. Yeah. Future, I would have thought 500 years ahead. I mean, I would have thought there'd be in other galaxies by now.
But the question I put to you: do you think it's a malevolent entity, this DMA?
No, I think it's like a fishing trawler.
I don't.
I think it's.
I do. I think because after last series,
that's what it's indicating. It's indicating that it's something where, but if it's as big as they're saying, they're going to have to make whatever this entity is very impressive visually. And
it's going to be on Vega level, isn't it? It's going to be something like Vega, isn't it?
It's going to be something really beyond what we've seen before.
Do you know, it could be connected to the Doomsday weapons, you know.
I was about to say the Doomsday device.
Because that came from outside.
Yeah.
Kirk said it don't come from
There's
our
not
galaxy.
been many instances of things coming from outside. You also had the ship which was Tin Man. We had Tin Man, that came from outside as well. But
Vega came from outside as well.
And by any other name, the race there, is it Kelvins? They came from outside.
Oh, the Kelvins, yeah. They're the only ones I know that penetrate.
There's only been a handful of races outside of the galaxy that we've seen.
Do you remember when Mudge took over them androids?
Did they come from outside?
Their masters did.
Yeah, I think they did now, thinking about it.
And
you're right.
Do you remember her that could disappear into a line and then she used to touch you? She were made for you, with black hair.
Yes.
Merriweather.
She was in Batman. I know she was in Batman.
I think they were from outside as well. Because some races seem to get... Because, I mean, if you go to start this... I think there's two barriers. There's one at the centre.
There's one in the middle as well.
Yeah,
there is one in the middle.
That's where that entity's trapped.
That's where what does God want with a starship? But we don't know much about them. We know that it can't be... It's only been seen in Star Trek 5. But the Great
Yeah.
Barrier has not been mentioned apart from the original series. This is the first time it's been mentioned.
No,
It's
it never got mentioned. In
Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. This is the first time, and I'm excited about that. But I'm worried that
I am. Because I want to get back to a lot of this.
What I want them to do is sort out whatever this problem is, and then season 5 will be them exploring a brand new galaxy. Maybe.
That'd be cool.
That would be that. It's the next step, isn't it? To actually explore.
Especially 1,000 years into the future.
Yeah. So.
But the whole thing of this, that what's going on, that like with this entity or whatever it is, and the galactic barrier. When Cyborg, Spock's brother, he did something to make the barrier doesn't register on technology, but
that's right.
It's like if you do something to your subconscious, you can fly through the barrier without any problems. It's like it's a wavelength to keep something out.
It's almost like a psychic.
So whatever it is that's out there cannot enter. So, but you can fly through it. But it's on because in Star Trek 5, it was the mindset. Because if they hadn't have had the mind's conditioned by him, then things would have happened. But even in the original series, they do not register the energy on their senses. So whatever it is, it's a higher form of energy.
But we know that this thing is also enters our galaxy from a wormhole. They said that last week.
Well, it's penetrated through the galactic barrier. So whatever this thing is
from
definitely
a wormhole going through the galactic
omnipotent.
Barrier.
It's omnipotent. Whatever it is.
I hope they don't mess it up because I've had mixed feelings with season 4. I think it started off well, but it's really, to me, it's lost a lot of momentum in the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, it has. It started off very well.
And I think that maybe they've made a few too many episodes. They might have, they're doing 10 episodes of season 5, and I wonder whether it might be about the right amount. It might, because there's been a few wasted episodes.
Season 5. I think it's finished after season 5. I think they're done after that.
They might do, because at that point, I've seen the new trailer. There's a short trailer which has come out where you see a couple of shots from Strange New Worlds, and you see the Enterprise, and it does look good. But it might be at that point that Discovery would have been on for 5 seasons. It probably would have made about 60 episodes by then, because a lot of the seasons have been about 13, 14 episodes.
How many episodes is this season now?
I don't know. I think it's either 13 or 14. I'm not sure exactly.
Right. So when and 2 weeks time,
episode 10 is coming up. Episode 10 is coming up, and about 2 or 3 weeks since Picard. Yeah. So
tomorrow.
It should. Hopefully, it'll start kicking into high gear for the last few episodes now. I still like the show. I still think it's got a lot of problems. I still think that in the long term, I will like it more. A bit like the new Doctor Who. I tend to sometimes like stuff after it's finished, and I kind of get my head around the changes.
Easter.
Yeah, Easter.
It's officially, it's back at Easter, yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to be the one with the Sea Devils, which coincidentally was filmed in Portsmouth, the original episode with the Sea Devils. Not that I keep going about bloody Portsmouth. Any other news? Did we talk about that Paramount have announced a new Star Trek film with Chris Pine? Did we talk about that last week?
Oh, yeah, we did that last week.
We did that last week, that's fine, we'll talk about that.
I don't think there ain't much going on. Apart from that Man Who Fell to Earth series, I think that's about it, really.
Ian McDermott has hinted he could come back as the Emperor in Kenobi. I don't know whether it's going to happen or not.
Actually, they could do, because it's set in the past, isn't it, Kenobi?
That's what I'm saying. It could be, and he has hinted that it could come back, because of course it's after.
That means he's going to be in it then. That means
I think he could be in it in the scene or two, which is fine, because I think Ian McDermott's fantastic as the Emperor. So bring that on. Any other news I've got? There was a cult TV. What else is there? There was one other thing. Oh yes, actor Stuart Bevan has died, age 73. He was in the last episode of the last story with the Green Death. I can't remember her name. Joe Grant. And,
yes.
And he's the guy that Joe Grant went off to marry in the end, and he has appeared in Steptoe Sunrise.
I saw that on Facebook, yeah.
And
Olive
died
as well.
Yeah, she just died literally. I read that a couple of hours ago.
Yeah,
Anna
shared it when I saw
Anna Karen has died, and I'm a big On the Buses fan. And she was so good in that. So apparently all the cast of On the Buses have now passed away. Now I think that she was the last one. So a great series. I love it. I love the films that they made. So it's a sad thing that she's gone, but you know, she's got a legacy behind her, playing the infamous Olive, and with the actors in that show as well. So yeah, that's it. I think that's the only news I've got. Really, there's nothing much else to say to you. Unless you've got anything else to say to me.
No, that's it. There's nothing much to report. It's a bit of a dead week this week, actually.
Yeah, it's been a bit dead as well. But
Yeah.
so look, next week, if you don't mind, let's do Cube. I can do most of the talking. You just go along with it because it'll be funny. Sometimes when we have these shows, you're not a big fan. No, it can be good. But I like that. I don't mind you saying.
I'll watch it. That's 5 hours
All right.
of my life.
And then the week after, and I will do this other thing you talked about. By then, I should have seen all the UFOs, and then we'll do your UFO show. So that'd be good. Is that all right?
Yeah, but no. Week after we're gonna do Journey to the Far Side of the Sun before UFO.
Well, no, let me look because I've done all the graphics you see, and I've done all the
No,
graphics.
you need them. No,
But I promise I'll do it. But it'll be soon. I promise to do that. Okay, and then it's your turn.
We're all watching and monitoring the situation.
No, I promise I'll do yours. I might do.
So, how many episodes have you watched then?
I've seen about 3 so far. I watched the pilot one with the because obviously they're based in the film studio, and then you've got the guy.
Harlington Straker. Yeah.
And then you got the guy who was a US in the US Navy Air Force, who's now working in the film thing. You got the people with the purple hair on the moon base. You got a guy on a submarine, and you also got a automated robot satellite.
Yeah.
And you've got these UFOs, and we've seen so far that there's this UFO. A guy was taken from the UFO. He had green skin because apparently he'd been underwater and he changed the colour of his skin. And he appeared to be quite humanoid, and he actually had parts of human anatomy in his body, which I thought was quite interesting. It reminded me of a bit of the Vidians, taking sort of human body parts and putting it inside, but this is like their organs. And so far, that's all I've kind of seen so far. But I do like this so far.
Do you think it's like, how do you compare it to Space 1999?
The moon base has definitely got a prequel feel to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Do you think
I
prefer UFO to Space 1999?
I can't judge it yet so far. I like
but
a lot.
There's
But
some
it's
really
good so far. It's good so far.
I don't want to give you any spoilers, but my God, there's some really weird stories you're gonna see.
Well, I'll go through them.
Dinging stuff.
I like the Jerry Anderson feel about it. Always has a certain identity. I like
I've got to say, he never truly appreciated for the science fiction masterpieces he created.
I was put off by the puppet
very
stuff.
intelligent stuff.
I'm not a big fan of the puppet series. They're good, but they're not for me.
I'm in and out with them.
I like live action. Yeah, as a kid. Yeah. But as an adult, I like Jerry Anderson live action. For me, that means Space 1999 and now this UFO series, which I've not watched before. So.
UFO is one of the most intelligent sci-fi series you could ever watch.
Well, I'm looking forward to reviewing it.
They didn't get it when it came out.
I never saw it. I don't know why I didn't see this one until now. And you've been going on about this for ages.
And then you've got all the ladies in it as well.
Yes, with the purple. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. I mean, it must be quite fun being on the moon base. Let's put it that way. Interesting outfits. The one where the woman, she actually wore these tight trousers, and then she took the trousers off and wore this very tight silvery skirt and stuff. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, Sylvia Anderson designed all this weird.
Yeah, and like it's
they thought
1980.
it was going to come out in 1980, you know.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like 12 years after it was made or something.
Yeah.
It's like, and I like some of the cars as well near the film studio.
I like the skydiver, mate. I love the submarine.
Yeah, and there's a ship that looks like an airplane that looks like Concorde in the first episode, but I don't think that's a regular thing. Yeah, I'll report back in a couple of weeks. Honestly, 2 weeks' time, I'll be done.
I will say the term shadow and what it stands for is superb. Supreme Headquarters Alien Defense Organization. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, but the thing is, I always think of the shadow character from Only Fools and Horses, the guy that's trying to... And he goes, don't elusive shadow.
No, stop it. Stop it.
No, I know. I've only seen... Don't forget, I'm not as you've seen this for many a year. This is new to me, but I do like it. I think I could tell it's got that lovely. It's got the Space 1999 vibe to it. To
I'll
me,
tell you
it's feeling
something.
like
If you're
a
saying it
prequel.
on, when I bought it on Blu-ray and when I watched it, I got a bit annoyed because I could see all paint stains on the scenery.
Yeah, I mean the HD copy I'm watching, it's pretty good. It's pretty sharp. And
God, they wear some makeup though, don't they?
I know.
Yeah, have you
but
seen the amount of makeup we've got?
Yeah, I know. But I mean, again, it's a great transfer. I mean, some of these old shows that are transferring to HD, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, I'm still waiting for an HD copy of DS9 and Voyager, which I don't think we'll ever get. And after they did such a good job on the Next Generation,
I
mean,
so.
those are my two favourite Star Trek series, really, apart from the Next Generation.
I just want them on Blu-ray.
I really need to have it in HD because it's so good, and it's all right. The copy I've got. But I'm used to watching the Next Generation. Or
I've seen Dominion Battles and that in HD. And they're looking.
Well, they did it for the documentary, didn't they? They redid some.
Why can't just release it?
Because it'll cost millions to do.
I know.
And they're not the most popular Star Trek series. But
if
they can, well, yeah, and to me too. But I don't know. But anyway, we shall, like I said, hopefully 2 weeks' time, if you don't mind, we'll do that. Then we'll do very soon after this other thing you told me about. I promise I'll do that. I've got to do what I do is I do all my graphics weeks ahead, so I'm trying to get it all allocated to the right things. But I promise I'll do the thing. And I'm also, as a thank you, I'll do your graphics for your channel as well if you want me.
Yeah, I'll let you know what I want. I'm still in.
Give me some ideas, and then what I'll do once you've got some ideas, I will do some design ideas. I can run them by you, and then you can tell me what bits you like, and I can put it all together, and it'll be great. It's gonna be good. Your channel's gonna really be cool, and I think that obviously the name's popular. You're already halfway there. I like your original name. I like Martin Sci-Fi, Phil, but as you say, it's time to change, and you can still, all the content will still be there. It's just the old name. It'll be fine. So yeah, be cool. All right, Martin. I'll leave with this song. It's called Time. It's something which was a cover done by Peter Bence, and it's a cover of Time by Hans Zimmer, which of course was on the great film Inception. Which a film I'd love to do with you at some point.
Inception? Oh God, no. Do you like Inception?
I love Inception. Do you not like Inception?
Oh, just add it to the list. I'll suffer that as well.
No, because I'm making you watch all these films you hate. I'm feeling bad now.
Well, that's all part of the plan.
Mind you, I might hate UFO by the end of it. I might come back in 2 weeks time and say, what a load of old bollocks that was. I don't think I will, but never mind. Martin, thank you very much. We'll catch you next week on the Solo One Sci-Fi podcast. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.